afternoon, good morning, good evening, everybody. It's Sunday, December 18th, and you know what that means. It is time for the High Risk Wrestling Podcast. I am your host, still honorary, but getting there, Jeremy Pierce, and we've got another solid show for you this evening. And as always, check me out on the socials, Charismatic Creations on Facebook, Tumblr, and YouTube, Charismatic_Creations52 on Instagram, and the 215 on Twitter. Previously, we looked at the worst of 2022, and today, kind of following up from last week's show, the top stories of 2022. But for now, you all know what's next, so just go on and hit my music. As always, you know we got some news for you. So what went down? William Regal, when he returned to the WWE, an update for our last story with William Regal, he will be serving in a vice presidential role with the company, probably working directly under Triple H. It's great. We don't know what the official title is, but he's going to be a big asset to the company. Carl Anderson will be wrestling at Wrestle Kingdom. He will be defending his championship, the Never Openweight Championship, against Tama Tonga. AEW has hired a former WWE Vice President of Global Television Production. What's his name? His name is Michael Mansbury. He was the Vice President of Global Television Production WWE, and it looks like he'll be doing the same thing in AEW. Kylie Ray wrestled on Main Event. She went under the name Brianna Ray, lost to Dana Brooke. She came out doing the smiling thing, but it was more really aggressive during the match. It's just great to see Smiley Kylie back wrestling again. Raw this past week hit a low. For the ratings, they did 1.47 million viewers with a 0.37 in the 18 to 49 demo. That is Raw's lowest total since the July 5th episode. Jeff Jarrett hopes that AEW makes a live event announcement soon, and I've said this time and again, for AEW to grow and to succeed, they need to start doing house shows. The WWE can do it. They can do it, and the wrestlers themselves need more time in the ring instead of just wrestling once a week or doing independent shows. If you do a Dynamite Rampage taping and 2 house shows per week, and then whoever is not being used for, let's say, Dynamite or Rampage can be on those house shows, and then everybody else can be on like the independent shows, then you got the dark matches. That's great. They need to be doing house shows. And one of the bigger news stories of the week, if you didn't know, Mandy Rose was released from her WWE contract for putting premium content on I think it's her Brand Army page, which is like fans only, which is like OnlyFans, so on and so forth. It would be different if she didn't get explicit with it, because it was getting explicit. At one point she was not at one point, she still is rating dick pics, and she was making a ton of money. She was making about $250,000 a month. That is more than her WWE contract, and obviously you don't want to give that up. Now some say there's a double standard, that she was promoted as being sexual and that was the gimmick. Yes, that is very, very true, but she, at the end of the day, she broke the clause in her contract, period. That's what happened. And Mandy Rose was surprised by her release. I don't know why she was surprised by her release. Like, yes, you can make money outside of the company now, but you can't. So people say, like, well, what about Playboy? That's a different time and era that was promoted, that was, under the guise of the company. And now it's just like, yo, what you're doing ain't it. And Mandy knew that her premium content was going to get her in trouble. And her firing was a last-minute decision, which is why she lost the Women's Championship to Roxanne Perez. Now, yes, I wanted Mandy Rose's reign of terror to be over. I needed it to be done. I needed the prestige to be brought back to the NXT Women's Championship. And Mandy Rose will go down as one of the worst champions in the company in that title's history, along with her and Raquel Rodriguez. They're just not great champions at all. So I wanted the reign of terror. The end just not like this. And her content was becoming more and more of an issue. And the door isn't closed for her return. She can obviously come back to the company. Just things gotta die down. But with how much money she's making, and she raised her prices, y'all. She raised her prices. Why would she go back? I don't need AEW to sign her. AEW, please don't sign her. She can go to Impact. And that's not to disrespect Impact. Impact can help her, but AEW doesn't need her. Mandy Rose had about 2 years left on her contract. She wasn't given an opportunity to take the content down, but why was she? Money was too good. It's too good. There's news of Vince McMahon trying to make his way back into the WWE, but that will not happen. Even though he owns 80% of the company, because the WWE is a publicly traded company, the board of directors have to vote on bringing him back, and they will not be doing that. Vince coming back will be a big risk for their sponsors, and he doesn't have any support at all. Like, everybody's happy that he's gone. Shotzi Blackheart's injury is legit. It is not part of a storyline. She does have a broken and she will be out, I believe, 6 weeks, whereas Raquel's injury is storyline. AEW's viewership went up, but they failed to break 1 million viewers with the Winter is Coming special. This episode did 950,000 viewers with a .33 and an 18:49 demo. That is up from last week's episode, which did 840,000 viewers. A former Ring of Honor World Champion has finally signed with Impact, and that is one, the Octopus, Jonathan Gresham. That is a big pickup for Impact. And one of the dumbest stories that I have heard, which I honestly believe, because I really believe it. The WWE never saw Sasha Banks as the future main eventer. They never saw her as a star. They saw her as a steady hand. Sasha wanted to be paid like Charlotte and like Becky, and they said no, because they don't view her as a star like that. Now, mind you, Sasha has always played second fiddle to Charlotte, and Sasha should have been the biggest star in the entire company, over Becky, over Charlotte, over Roman. Sasha's that good. They didn't see her as a star. She has massive crossover appeal. She's probably Saraya's partner for the January 4th episode, I believe, of Dynamite, when Saraya needs a partner of her choosing. And this is going to be something that the WWE will ultimately regret, saying that Sasha isn't a star, that you don't see her on the same level as Charlotte and Becky. That's absurd. Charlotte and Becky wishes they were as popular and had as massive crossover appeal as Sasha. Period. And lastly, AEW television set will be getting a new look very soon. I am looking forward to it. That's the news. We shall be right back. All right. So how did this week go? I'll be honest with you all. This was a very light week when it comes to our shows. We just check me out. You know, we are in a slow season. It feels, you know, it's so funny when we get around Christmas time, Thanksgiving, Christmas, the WWE kind of slows down, and then they start ramping things up once we get into the new year. Whereas AEW, they run like 3 big shows. They have Winter is Coming, which is this is the third Winter is Coming, I believe. Then they have the Holiday Bash, and then they have the New Year's Bash. So they do these big kind of TV specials, which I really, really give them credit for. It makes the end of the year worth watching. I remember last year, New Year's Bash had the Tay J versus Bunny and Penelope Ford street fight, which was great, and I loved that match. Man, it was so awesome. But as for Monday Night Raw, we're in the slow season. The show gets a fist, nothing good, nothing bad. It's just there. Our opening match was Alexa Bliss defeating Bayley to become the #1 contender. She teased Sister Abigail on Bianca, so we're going full force with that. And honestly, I'm not the biggest Alexa Bliss fan. Y'all know that. I think she's just okay. She's just average in the ring. She does things, certain things well, but I was always really more interested in her when she was with Bray Wyatt. It gave her some appeal. It actually made her as a believable threat, because right now she's got no shot against Bianca, period. AJ Styles defeated Chad Gable. The Judgment Day defeated the Street Profits and Akira Tozawa. Johnny Gargano and Dexter Lumis were giving out gifts to the fans as The Miz tried to steal the money once again. So next week he will face, this week, if the show's on Sunday, he will face Dexter Lumis in a winner-takes-all ladder matches. The Miz had to put up more money. Io Sky defeated Candice LeRae. Kevin Owens hasn't forgotten about Elias and Ezekiel. Elias wanted KO as backup, and only Kevin Owens believes in continuity. Only KO. Solo Sikoa defeated Elias, and he tried to take out Elias like he did Riddle, so KO saves Elias from a beatdown that gives Elias a stunner. I mean, yeah. Obviously. Rhea Ripley defeated Asuka, but Asuka, she did come out with her face paints, and where she's teasing the return of Killer Kana, which I absolutely love. She also gave the miss to Dominic Mysterio. And in the main event, Seth Rollins defeated Bobby Lashley to become the #1 contender for the United States Championship. Bobby gets suspended after he lost his cool a little bit and pushed. No, sorry, he didn't get suspended. He got fired after he pushed Adam Pearce. And Adam Pearce is going to talk to him a little bit later in the week over on Dynamite. This show gets a thumbs up just because we had some good storyline development and things moving forward. The Death Triangle went up 3-1 over the Elite, and Kenny is tired of the hammer being used. So next week's match will be a no DQ match. If it goes to a 6th match, that will be, I believe, a street fight. And if it goes to a 7th match, it will be a ladder match. So obviously, we're going to 7 for the best of 7. MJF and Ricky Starks both had promos hyping up their title match later in the evening. The Acclaimed are attacked by Jay Lethal and crew. So it looks like we're going to get with Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett feuding with the Acclaimed now. Jungle Boy defeated Brian Cage. He calls out Big Bill Morrissey, formerly W. Morrissey, after his match, who beats him down until Hook makes the save. Finally, we've seen Hook graduate from Rampage, and now he's on Dynamite. The House of Black absolutely murdered the Factory, got the W. Bananas. This is how you present it, and we need a few more factions to get there, get up their action. Andretti upset Chris Jericho. This was wild. This was crazy. This is why Chris Jericho is the GOAT in action. Andretti is all elite. Now they have to follow up on this momentum. They have to do that. Ruby Soho in her return match defeated Ty Mello, but Anna Jay attacks Ruby after the match, so we're not done. And in our main event, MJF retains the AEW World Championships after going low on Ricky Starks. This was a solid match. As MJF is exiting, Bryan Danielson confronts him and chases him out. Looks like that's our next feud. I'm ready for. Over on Impact, in our Impact corner, Eddie Edwards defeated Delirious and tried to take off his mask until Jonathan Gresham came out to make the save. Bully Ray wins a squash match, and Tommy Dreamer is done with him. The major players defeated Decay. Mickie James is getting a little testy, especially during her and Jordynne Grace's contract signing. And listen, y'all, Mickey's going to win the match, and she's going to cheat to win. Mickie was also challenged by Tasha Steelz. Sammy Callahan defeated the former Island Angels, who's going now just by Angels, but the Design, formerly Violent by Design, get the last laugh, taking him out. And in our main event, the Motor City Machine Guns defeated Heath and Rhino for the Tag Team Championships over on SmackDown. This was an okay show. It was fair. You know what I mean? It was fair. Damage Control retains their tag team championships as they were defending against Tegan Knox and Liv Morgan. They were helped by a hooded figure, later revealed to be Xia Li. So I'm curious to where they're going to go. Y'all know I love me some Xia Li. Finally happy she has something to do. LA Knight calls out Bray Wyatt. Knight got kidnapped a little bit earlier. But then Uncle Howdy shows up while Bray Wyatt is out there. The show that Bray and Uncle Howdy are two different people. I'm going to need this feud to pick up a little bit more steam. Let's see where it goes. Gunther, and in an awesome match, retained the Intercontinental Championship over Ricochet. This was awesome. Go and watch this. This is back-to-back weeks. 2 out of the last 3 weeks where Ricochet just had an amazing match. Imperium tried to attack Ricochet after the match, but Braun Strowman made the saves, and you knew this is where they were going. I'm not looking forward to Braun versus Gunther. Hopefully Gunther can get a good match out of Braun. Roman Reigns tells Adam Pearce that he and Sammy will face KO and a partner of KO's choosing on the 12/30, which is the last SmackDown of the year. And I immediately figured out who it was because it was very obvious. Hit Row won a triple threat match to become the #1 contenders for the Tag Team Championship against the Usos. This probably happened on that 12/30 show. Yes, Top Dollar went for a tope and he didn't get all the way over. His leg gave out. It happens. Wrestlers aren't perfect. They're just not. And in the main event segment, as we're out there with the Bloodline, and we're there, about to say some things, who should appear on the screen? None other than John Cena himself, who will keep his record alive of 21 years. A match it every year for the last 20 years, and he is Kevin Owens' partner. So he'll be taking on Sami Zayn, and Roman Reigns teaming with Kevin Owens. Over on Rampage, Jon Moxley defeated Sammy Guevara. Hangman Page attacked Mox after the match. Saraya is coming for Jamie Hayter, which I'm all for. I hope other people can get a shot to. I really miss Chris Statlander. I miss Chris Statlander. I do. FTR will get the guns on Dynamite. Red Velvet is getting annoyed with Jade, and remember, it's known in AEW that wrestlers watch the show. They even showed it in the segment. So at some point, Red Velvet will be splitting away from Jade. I wouldn't be surprised to see Red Velvet and then lastly Layla Gray split from Jade and go back with Kiera Hogan. Britt Baker defeated Sky Blue, and Sheeta saved Sky Blue after the match from getting a beatdown. Preston Vance had an interview explaining himself, and this is good. This is good character development. Wardlow wins the squash, and he'll get the TNT Championship match against Samoa Joe. And in the main event, the Best Friends and Dustin Rhodes defeated the Butcher, Blade, Kip Sabian, and Trent Seven. I just need more wins for Butcher and the Blade. I really want to see them succeed. Not a lot to talk about one of the matches of the week. There were two. From SmackDown, check out the Intercontinental Championship match between Gunther and Ricochet. It's crazy to think that Vince McMahon didn't know what to do with Ricochet. Yes, he can't talk that well. He's solid, but he can put on amazing matches, and Gunther is Gunther. Can you just call up JD McDonough and Dragunov, put them on SmackDown. Just have Drew, Sheamus, Gunther, McDonough, Dragunov just beat the hell out of each other for like a year. Put the title in the line in the middle, and I see title, and just have them beat up each other for a year. And our other match of the week from Rampage, Sammy Guevara versus John Moxley. This could have been a main event on Dynamite because these are two big stars in AEW. And you just got to keep doing this with Rampage. You got to put on at least 2 high-profile matches. And I think this is like Moxley's second or third match on Rampage, like in the last month. So just keep doing this. You got to make Rampage worth watching. And our star of the week, I'm going to have to give it to Ricky Starks. Looked really, really well. Looked really good in his championship match. And he has arrived. But that's the week in review. And we shall be right back. ...2022 has been a crazy year. It just has. So, last week we looked at the worst of 2022. Now we're going to get into the best, not the best, but the top stories of 2022. And there are a few. So let's just start with Forbidden Door. Y'all remember Forbidden Door? It was the AEW New Japan crossover show, pay-per-view. And if you don't know what Forbidden Door, the Forbidden Door means, it's a term meaning when someone from another promotion goes to another promotion as like a crossover, and the Forbidden Door has been opened. That doesn't happen. You won't see Roman Reigns go over into Impact. You won't see Okada go wrestle on Smackdown. That doesn't happen, right? But the Forbidden Door has been open with Impact. They've been with WWE, AEW, New Japan, AAA. They've been with everybody. But this right here was the biggest show. It went down on Sunday, June 26th, and there was a lot of lead up to the show. So essentially, it pretty much all started with run-ins and people being called out, so on and so forth, and there were just a bunch of storylines involved. So if we go to the match card, the show had 13 matches, 4 on the pre-show. So on the pre-show we had Haruki Goto and Yushi Hisashi take on the Factory, defeating them. Lance Archer defeating Nick Camarado. And you're like, well, why is that match? Lance Archer was big in Japan. So after he left Impact, he went over to New Japan and became the Murder Hawk Monster that is Lance Archer. Swerve in Our Glory defeated the team of El Desperado and Yoshinobu Kanemaru, aka Suzuki Gun, and Max Caster and the Gun Club defeated the team of Yuya Uemura and the New Japan LA Dojo, Alex Coughlin, DKC, and Kevin Knight. So there weren't really any stories for that match, but all the other matches, Minoru Suzuki teaming up with Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara to take on Eddie Kingston, Shota Umino, and Wheeler Yuta. FTR defeating the United Empire and Roppongi Vice, retaining the Ring of Honor and IWGP Tag Team Championships. Pac defeating Clark Connors, Miro, and Malachi Black to win the inaugural All-Atlantic Championship. The Dudes with Attitude, Sting, Darby Allin, and Shingo Takagi defeated the Bullet Club, the team of El Phantasmo, Matt Jackson, and Nick Jackson. Thunder Rosa retained the AEW Women's Championship, defeating Toni Storm. Will Ospreay defeated Orange Cassidy, retaining the IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship. Claudio Castagnoli made his debut, defeating Zack Sabre Jr. Jay White retained the IWGP Heavyweight Championship, defeating Hangman Page, Kazuchi Okada, and Adam Cole. In the main event, Jon Moxley defeated Hiroshi Tanahashi to win the interim AEW World Championship. I would have had Tanahashi win, but that's neither here nor there. And this was just an awesome show. I wish there were more women's matches, just because we now see that New Japan has their own women's championship, which was won by the great Kairi Sane. Kairi Sane. She's now going by what? Kairi. She's going by just now Kairi. And yeah, it's just, I just wish there were just more women's matches on the show. You know, she's a Stardom champion. Now she's Japan's champion. But the Forbidden Door, I'm kind of hoping that this becomes an annual event. Because it was great. It just was. I mean, we can get more companies involved. I would love a Forbidden Door show between AEW and Impact Wrestling. One of the bigger stories of the year: Sasha Banks and Naomi walking out of the WWE. We talked about this last week, but just to refresh your memory, essentially Sasha and Naomi were while they were the tag team champions, they were to lose to the respective Raw and SmackDown women's champions. I believe Raw, Bianca; SmackDown, Ronda. And Sasha and Naomi were like, well, why should we lose? We're the tag team champions. Give us opponents in a tag team match and have two other women take the L. They can take the L, but also get a rub. Why are you devaluing us and our championships? And they presented ideas to Vince. They presented ideas to John Laurinaitis, and they were rejected. So they put the titles on the desk and walked out. That's what happened. Yeah. And the WWE tried to kind of embarrass them, talk down to them, make them look bad, when essentially they stood up for themselves and say, yo, this is stupid. WWE wants to present this idea, pre-Triple H wanted to present the idea that we're a family and that you can express yourself without repercussions and consequences. Well, that was a lie. That was a stone cold, bald face lie. And they haven't been seen in a wrestling ring since. Sasha's been doing some training, and now she is going to be at Wrestle Kingdom. She's probably going to be on Dynamite the week after. But Naomi's been chilling. And then we get more and more news that, you know, the WWE didn't see Sasha Banks as a big star, which is just dumb and stupid and idiotic. And it's a weird situation, because you know, you always want to say no one is bigger than the company, but there are times when we know people are bigger than the company. Hulk Hogan, The Rock, Stone Cold, John Cena. Sasha Banks was going to be bigger than the company, and now because they say she's not a star, they're going to regret that, and she's going to make them look stupid. Now the women's division is fine because the main roster has great talent. Little less so about NXT, but they're going to regret that. Ric Flair's last match, yeah, that actually happened. This was a show that involved AEW, Black Label Pro, DDT, Future Stars of Wrestling, Game Changer Wrestling, Impact, Lucha, AAA, Major League Wrestling, NWA, New Japan, Ohio Valley Wrestling, Progress, Pro Wrestling Revolver, Ring of Honor, Terminus, Modern Age Grappling, and WWE. That was a lot. What was the main event? Ric Flair teaming with his son-in-law, Andrade El Idolo, taking on Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett. The show was held in Nashville, Tennessee at the Nashville Municipal Auditorium, and it had a buy rate of almost right around 24 to 29,000, 6,800 people in attendance. I think they could have probably gotten more, but this was a fun, solid show that's happy. You know, Ric Flair doesn't have to wrestle again. I know he's got that itch, but let's go over the card. In the pre-show, Ren Narita defeated Yuya Amora, and Mance Warner defeated Bully Ray. And he won a battle. He won the Bunkhouse Battle Royal, lastly eliminating Bully Ray. But the main card had 9 matches. The Motor City Machine Guns defeated the Wolves, the team of Davey Boy Richards and Eddie Edwards. Killer Cross defeated Davey Boy Smith Jr. Jonathan Gresham defeated Island Angels, Konosuke Takeshita, and Nick Wayne to determine the number 1 contender for the Progress World Championship. The 4 Horsemen, Brian Pillman Jr. and Brock Anderson, defeated the Rock and Roll Express of Ricky and Kerry Morton. This was just great fun right there. Ray Phoenix defeated Bandito, Laredo Kid, and Black Taurus in one of our match of the year candidates. Woo! In a phenomenal match. Josh Alexander defeated Jacob Fatu. Sorry, that ended in a no contest. The Briscoes defeated the Von Erichs. Jordan Grace retained the Impact Knockouts Championship in a triple threat match against Deonna Purrazzo and Rochelle Ellering. And in the main event, Ric Flair, he wasn't going to lose, Ric Flair and Andrade defeated Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett. The promo for the match of Ric Flair getting jumped in the parking lot was great. But yeah, Ric Flair had his last match and he got to walk that aisle one last time. The prodigal son returned home. Cody Rhodes going back to the WWE. And look, listen, his last couple of months in AEW weren't great. He made some major missteps while there, even though he was one of, if not the biggest star in the company. The flip-flopping of the TNT Championship and just not putting over Anthony Ogogo. So there were times when Cody got in his own way, but he returned to the WWE. Back at WrestleMania, he fought Seth Rollins. He won, and they had this nice triple match feud that Cody won all of them. And then, as you all know, Cody tore his pectoral. Wrestled in a Hell in a Cell match with the torn pectoral. It was still a great match, and Cody is back, and he's obviously one of the favorites to defeat Roman Reigns for the WWE Championship. In out of left field, just news story. AEW, Tony Khan buying Ring of Honor. Buying Ring of Honor. And Ring of Honor has been featured a lot on WWE programming. And they've been weaving feuds in and out, and it's just been really it's been great, but it also has been a little spotty. So we are looking for AEW to separate from Ring of Honor for Ring of Honor to get their own TV show, but I like what they've been doing. Honestly, the only thing that's been really suffering since the bye from Ring of Honor has been the women's division in Ring of Honor. Mercedes Martinez won the championship, defeating Deonna Purrazzo. This is a fun trivia fact. In the main event of Dynamite, people don't remember that was a main event, but that she got hurt. But now we have a new Ring of Honor Women's Champion in Athena, and it's just great to have Ring of Honor back. We couldn't let a company like that just go by the wayside. Of course, we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about the AEW All Out, Fall Out, Brawl Out. Yeah. At the end of All Out, got the media scrum. We've got Punk sitting there right next to Tony Khan, just going on this crazy rant. And he's calling out everybody. He's calling out Hangman. He's calling out Mox. He's calling out the Elites. And it's just, wow. So he leaves, and Tony's doing another interview, and Jericho's like, after Jericho leaves, and Jericho's like, yo, we've got some issues going on backstage. There was a fight that CM Punk and Ace Steel started. CM Punk was subsequently suspended and then fired. The Elite were suspended. And mind you, that night the Elite had won the Trios championships, and they were stripped of the championships. And it's crazy to think that CM Punk can consistently destroy locker rooms, because that's what he's been doing. Like, if you take away what happened on All Out, he had a fantastic year in AEW. His 1 year in AEW was fantastic, and he low-key played a heel during this entire run. With the exception of his feud with Darby Allin, he played a heel. And now he's gone. Once again, CM Punk is gone from another promotion. And they're fine without him. Now, part of the issue was Tony Khan giving CM Punk always what he wanted. Just don't do that. The Elite have recovered. They're fine. We'll see what's next with CM Punk. Will he be in the Royal Rumble? Who knows? Because technically he's still under contract to AEW. We talked about this briefly earlier, but Mandy Rose being fired from the WWE because of her premium content. And look, make your money. Simp's going. She was making $250,000 a month allegedly. Simp's going to simp, and this parasocial relationship that essentially lonely men make with beautiful women, it sucks. It just sucks, and the worst is that women can just profit off of it. But she was promoted as being sexy. That's the whole allure of toxic attraction. But like, the moment you start rating dick pics, then there's a problem. And people want to say, well, look at Paige, look at Riddle. Paige had private videos hacked, stolen, and leaked. She wasn't charging money for that. She didn't intend for those to come out. That's not what Mandy Rose was doing. Riddle, we believe, was suspended and had to go to rehab. If he refused rehab, a la Jeff Hardy, he would have been fired. Period. So they're not the same. They're just not. So Mandy Rose is gone. I don't need her in AEW. I don't need her in AEW at all. I just don't. Yeah, I just don't. Stone Cold Steve Austin. Stone Cold wrestled for the first time in almost 20 years, and Kevin Owens carried this feud. Carried carried this feud, and it was awesome. It was great to see Stone Cold, and it was a no holds barred match, which is stupid because WWE doesn't know what a no holds barred match is. It was pretty much a street fight. And yes, KO lost, but it was great to see the Texas Rattlesnake back in the ring, enjoying himself. And he showed back up the second night on WrestleMania, with Pat McAfee. This was awesome, man. It's a legend. Could he do one more match? Possibly, but it's not talked about enough that Stone Cold had, quote unquote, his retirement match, and nobody talks about it, and it was awesome. And and the fact that it was Kevin Owens, someone who was a great hand in wrestling, a great just guy, and there are very few people who could have sold that and made it believable and made it worth watching. And lastly, quite possibly the biggest story of the year, Vince McMahon being ejected from the WWE because of a sex scandal. He was having a relationship with someone working in the company, and that was fine. That was legal. Everything was on the up and up. It was the fact that he was paying her off to be quiet. And then not only was he paying her off, they didn't report it. So the financials were wrong. And it cost the company almost, $20-30 million? Can't have that, Chief. So Vince McMahon had to retire. And there was a weird run-up where he would just come out on shows and just say stuff and then leave. It was weird. And then at one point they used Titus O'Neil to cover things up, which was, can't be using him as a scapegoat. Titus O'Neil is one of the few genuinely good men in wrestling, and they try to use him as not as a scapegoat, but as like a pillow. But Vince McMahon has been gone, and the company has been just better. Commentary's been better, matches have been better, storylines have been better. NXT is NXT. I don't care about NXT anymore, but now Vince is talking about making his way back. No, he's not needed back. We don't want him back. We don't want you back. Yes, Vince, you will go into Hall of Fame. You have helped elevate this business and this industry. You're done. The next time we see you should be for your Hall of Fame induction. But those are our top stories of the year. Did I miss anything, folks? Let me know if I missed something. Thank you, as always, as usual. Thank you for listening. I appreciate it. We got 2 more shows left for the year, and next week we'll be going over our top matches of the year. This is going to be great. Top matches in New Japan, top matches in AEW, Impact, WWE, Ring of Honor. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. As always, check out the socials. Charismatic Creations on Facebook, Tumblr, and YouTube. Charismatic_Creations52 on Instagram. The 215 on Twitter. And as always, Zia Lee, Wendy Chu, Shotzi Blackheart. Y'all know I hate the simps, but y'all know I simp for Gigi Dolan. Holla at your boy. Peace.